Okay, so hope this don't look weird, but I just wanted to do a little video. I'm like holding the camera like the camera's like right here, but I can see it here. Anyways, okay, I just wanted to do a little quick video because I seen something. Um, I like to vent, and I seen something recently. I think I was watching T-Pin Fidel video, and it was the one about being in relationships. People like claiming you in relationships and not really being with them. People like lying and stuff. And it was something that stuck out in his video when he said the whole thing about keep your personal life personal. Because I remember that was a cardinal rule for me in school. Like not letting the public, in on your life and everything that's going on. And I remember I even got a story time for that. Of why you should, because I remember back when I was in middle school, you know, I I got into like a lot of crazy crap, and like I remember I got into a fight with this one guy, and basically, it's like it got all legal charges. I don't know if charges was pressed, but I know I ended up like getting extorted. I escorted off the premises in handcuffs, basically. And I had this one dude I was cool with. I ain't gonna say his real name, but I had this one dude that I was supposedly friends with, cool with, right? And I'm just gonna call him like Todd, right? So, and like I knew Todd. Like Todd was like he was one of them messy dudes. You know what I'm saying? He was one of them type of dudes that wanted like information just to spread it as most people do. You know what I'm saying? With that inner crowd kind of stuff, is like he'll like spread some mess just to be cool or whatever, or just because. So I remember after the whole incident, everybody was talking about it, and then Ty was like, ooh, he's like, what happened? Whatever, and then he was like, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm like nothing. I'm like, I was just before, if he didn't talk about it, I'm just trying to look past it, right? So he's like, no, he's like, come on, tell me, I ain't gonna say nothing. He's like, did he have to do, with drugs? Well, what was it? What you did? Whatever. He said you had a gun. You had it out. Just coming up all kind of wild stuff. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, you ain't nowhere near it. I'm like, I say, don't worry about it. Like, I'm not trying to talk about all that. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm here now. I'm like, everything good, everything cool. Let's just move on from it, right? So I don't know how long it was later. It was like maybe like a week or two. Like I don't know. I don't even remember. But I remember like sometime later. I think it was still inside that same month. May have not been. I don't know. Sometime later, because I lived in an apartment complex at this time, and he lived in a house. But the way he was set up, like my apartment complex was right beside like his house, like his neighborhood. His neighborhood was pretty much just like a big L. So I was walking down the street, going to a friend house. I think like my other friend house, to go see what's up with him. And I seen, because I knew his people, because I used to go over there and talk to him. So I see him outside with his mom. Like his mom had the broom. She was like sweeping the driveway, right? So I'm walking down the street. They called me over there. She's like, "Oh, look, it's Byron." She calls me over there, so I come over there, and I speak politely to her. She was like, "Oh, what's going on, Byron?" I'm like, whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm like nothing." I'm like, "How are you?" And then she was like, "I'm fine." And she was like, "Everything been good with you lately?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything's been fine." And she was like, "You sure?" She like, "Cause I heard that you've been getting into like quite the trouble." So my bad, backing up over that. But anyways, so I squint my eyes and I look at him, and I'm thinking in my mind like, I know this dude ain't just ran his mouth like that, even though like it wasn't completely implausible because of his character, but it was just like, come on, bro, like we supposed to be boys. So I squint my eyes, I look at him, he hunched his shoulders like, I don't know what you're talking about, lying ass. But so I look at it and I'm like, no, I'm like, everything's, I've been fine. I'm like, I haven't really been getting into, too much trouble. And she's like, oh really? She's like, because James told me, no. I'm gonna edit that out. But right, so she was like, really, because I tied, right, that he told me that you had got like arrested and escorted off the premises of the school for narcotics. Like you had some drugs on you, and whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't know where he would get that from. That wasn't the case. That never happened. I'm like, I've never touched drugs. I don't deal with drugs. That's not me. That's not where I come from or what I'm trying to uphold or lift. So she like, oh really? And then she was like, Tasha, isn't that what you said? And then he looked at her. He was all like, no, I don't. yeah, I don't remember. I don't know what you talking about. Like, like stuttering and stuff like that, jibber jabbing. So she was like, I can swear that you told me that. She was like, well, anyways, and she was like, good to see you, and I know that you're doing good. And she just went in the house, and I remember being so infuriated. I was like, dude, for real? I'm like, you supposed to, I was cursing him out and all that. I'm like, dude, for real? You supposed to be my mother loving boy. I'm like, what the f wrong with you? I'm like, you don't even know the full story, and you running your mouth, and you was the main dude in my face. I ain't gonna tell nobody, and you gonna go back and tell your parents some stuff like that, knowing that I know your people and I have a bad of an impact that could have on me. You feel me? I'm like, real homies don't go around spreading lies like that, or even if I wasn't something bad, like you don't go escalate it like that, you know. And he was like, no, man, it wasn't like that. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, and ever since I just told him, I'm like, bro, we not cool no more. Don't even speak to me. And ever since then, like, I did not speak to dude. I wasn't cool with him. And that just goes to show you that you should keep your personal life personal, because people only get information to spread it. Like, people are completely messy, you know? And, and the crazy part about it, like, you can tell which ones are too, because they the ones always in them cliques, and they always, got something snarky to say, like they're like acting all funny, like they implicate a lot of drama. And not only that, but it's like if you do become cool with one of them, it's like they get mad at the most irrational things, like when you don't want to get. It's crazy because it's so backwards. Because when you all up in people's business, they tell you to mind your business, but then when you minding your business, right, and they consider you like a good friend or whatever they consider you, right, they get mad because you're not in their business giving them advice. And it's like, I mean, it gets to a point where you have to stand up as an individual and be your own person. You can't be afraid of being your own person and making your decision. Even if you mess up, it's like, it makes you better. Because even if you do digress from where you was, it's like, at least you know another way not to go. So it pushes you closer to where you need to be. And another thing I want to touch on is that how, like, prime example, right? Because like a lot of artists, like I always see that it's like when a certain artist, right, or a certain person is like when they say the same all throughout their life or their career, people are so quick to be all like, oh, they always make the same music, and or they always doing the same thing, get over it, right? But when that person does grow up and change, right? People get mad and they say, "Oh, they forgot their roots. They fake now. They ain't stayed, down like A1 like they was supposed to. Whatever. Oh, I miss the old them. I know everybody can feel me. We want the old them back, but that's dumb. Like, it's a lose situation. You just gotta let real things be real. And go by life as you would. You know, because you can't control what people say or do. Don't even mind it, because people gonna say and do and believe whatever they want, whether it holds validity or not, whether it's right or not, whether it's true or not. You just gotta know what applies to you and what you hold near and dear, and focus on what matters. And it's crazy due to the fact is, like, people are so afraid of change, and it's all just because of they're afraid, or they lazy, and they're afraid of getting out there and doing something in their life, so their life isn't going nowhere. So they want, like, they feel bad about themselves, so they want everybody to be in that same predicament, so they feel less bad about themselves. But that doesn't do anything at the end of the day. Just get off your hiney and go do whatever you need to do. The thing that I believe is that change applies growth. Like, even if that, like I said before, even if that change is negative, you can still learn from that and still go somewhere from there. It's like it's like every time. I remember seeing this one quote that said that every time I don't get what I set out for, it's not failure, but just a pre-success. I never fail until I give up. Live by that. Like, don't be afraid of change. Be afraid to stand still. If you still at the same place when you were 17 at 27, something is wrong. You need to be afraid of that, and that should motivate you to change and try some different directions and do something differently. Because I'm a strong believer in that, like, being adamant. Like, if you stay persistent at something and you work hard at it, like, man, great things gonna happen. And you will get there. Things will come. And don't let people try to down you and make you believe that you're not good enough, or that you got to have a certain kind of this or that, because all that stuff is bull crap. You just got to be smart about yours. You got to be persistent, and you just got to work hard for it. And at the end of the day, that's the difference. You know, we all have the potential to be great people, you know, or to do extraordinary things. But what sets us aside is willpower. At the end of the day, it's the will to exercise that potential is what separates us. A lot of people choose not to, and then the few people that you see that are successful, that have become great in history, was the ones that was like, you know what, I'm not going to be a part of that statistic, you know, and I'm gonna exercise that potential. And that's what the greatness, you know, like lies at, and that's what extraordinary things come from. It comes from people exercising their potential that they know that they have, or they know that they can build up and will be great. So, with that being said, you know, be your own individual, have that willpower, you know, don't be afraid of that change, apply it, and have everything in your life, you know, just be good, because you can't live a good life if you're not doing right and treating people right. But you know, hey, let people live and how they want to live, and as long as if you're doing right and things going good for you, that's what matters. But until next time, keep on smiling.